So again, welcome everyone. Thanks so much for connecting. And we're going to get started with Jimmy and Chantel. Chantel's here from WestJet, and we're excited to hear from her first. And I think Jimmy's just going to give us a quick update about the prizes here and explain them, and then we'll get going here. So again, thank you everyone for being here. I'm seeing some hellos coming in the chat. And the questions about audio and things like that, I'll make sure those get answered in the chat here in just a moment. So thanks again, everyone, for being here. And Jimmy, if you want to take it away and then pass it over to Chantel, that'd be great.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy days to be with us. As Zephan said, my name is Jimmy. I'm the Director of Sales over at Agencia Global. And as you probably saw in the marketing for the webinar, we have two travel vouchers from WestJet to offer one winner. They're one-way vouchers, therefore we're offering two, so somebody could get a good deal on a round trip. They're for 50% off economy fares or 75% off premium fares, whatever you decide to use them for. And to qualify for the raffle, we're going to ask three things from you, pretty easy for all three. Number one, we ask that you attend the webinar in its entirety, including the Q&A. Number two, we ask that you register for an account on Agencia Global. It's free, and I'll show you how to do that. And number three, we ask that you make at least one WestJet booking on Agencia between today and July 16th. And aside from the raffle, there's a little extra in it for you for anyone who books between today and July 16th, which I'll get into during my portion of the webinar. So on that note, Chantel, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jimmy, and thank you, Zephan, for the introduction. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us for the WestJet Agencia webinar today. I'm really excited to be giving you updates about WestJet, so I'll just jump right into the presentation. So my name is Chantal Tourangeau, I'm a key account manager. I've been with WestJet for 7 years, and I'm based in Ottawa. And if I'm not behind my computer or meeting with clients, I am a true passion for travel and adventures, and I'm always out there traveling, as you can see from the pictures I've shown here. So just wanted to give a little bit of background of WestJet and where we started. And I'm not going to talk too much about this, but really at the beginning, we were only flying to 5 destinations, 5 cities. And WestJet said they would never fly past Winnipeg. Well, many years later, 27 years later, actually, this is what our network actually looks like. And we now fly to nearly 250 routes to over 100 destinations in 24 countries. So definitely there's been a lot of growth over the years, and we're excited to share that, of course, there will continue to be growth as the time passes. Right now, and I'll get more into details about what that growth looks like, but very exciting times. So over those 27 years, there's been a lot. I will not go through every step of this, but I think what's key is definitely the WestJet Delta joint venture application that took place. And definitely we're getting closer and closer to being able to finalize this. And you'll see how that works with our announcement of new routes, our product development. We're working very, very closely with our Delta partner. But obviously, with COVID-19 and the pandemic, it did cause a lot of unprecedented shifts in the airline industry. So as we came out 3 years later, there was a lot of re-looking at where's WestJet now from the beginning and coming out of this pandemic and as a recovery, what do we need to do? So we have our new CEO, Alexis, that joined us several months ago. No, actually a year ago. So he's just recently celebrated a year. But as when he joined WestJet, he did take 100 days to evaluate the company. And out of this evaluation came out to 3 strategies actually that now are in place. But basically the strategy for WestJet moving forward is focusing on Western Canada. And that doesn't just mean within Western, but connecting the East to the West. Leisure flying is the second pillar that we're focusing on. So leisure flying from any cities across Canada to leisure destination, whether it's a sun destination or Europe. And then finally, low cost advantage. And what we mean by that is that WestJet is working really, really hard to ensure that we continue to provide affordable airfare to our guests. And we're doing a lot of things internally to control that cost or of operation to deliver those lower airfares. So we're still, working on that, and you'll see as we move forward. And that was very clearly indicated by our CEO that this is our vision. This is what we're focusing on. So one thing that didn't change is the culture at WestJet. So love where you're going, meaning, our travelers, our guests, where they're going, but also us as WestJetters, as employees. We really love where we're going and being part of WestJet. So the culture is something that made us different right from the beginning, from our service level, going beyond and above and beyond, and also having that ownership mindset, because we used to have all shares and be owners of the company. Well, that changed when Onyx, purchased WestJet, but the culture has not changed. And there is still that great ownership mindset that is still existent today, and that's not going to go away. So I touched a bit about Delta and WestJet. We're aligning our services, our loyalty programs, so that if you're flying WestJet and you're connecting and then flying Delta, you can use their Delta lounges based on your top tier status and access that you have. Same thing if you're flying premium or business class. So everything, all the services are aligned, loyalty, so that when that joint venture is finalized, we'll be in great shape really to have the same products to offer and consistency, basically. So one big announcement that was done just recently, and I think that's important to share with all of you, is that Calgary and WestJet, the Calgary Airport Authority and WestJet has signed a partnership. Basically, Calgary Airport is now WestJet's main hub. It used to be kind of almost equal between Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary, but now there's that huge focus of Calgary. We're still going to have the very good traffic and network availability through Toronto and Vancouver and other cities, but Calgary is definitely our hub. And in that sense, we have relocated all of our Dreamliners. They are all flying through Calgary Airport at this time. And I'll show you what the schedule looks like to where these 787 Dreamliners are flying to. But the goal is actually, and the target is to double the traffic at Calgary Airport by the end of the decade, which is massive. It's huge. It means that Calgary Airport will be as significant as an airport like Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. So very exciting growth, a lot of changes that will be happening. So this is where I refer to our CEO, Alexis, after he done his review. And basically, I know this was in the news very much so last week, but about the Sunwing acquisition and also the Swoop integration and Swing integration to WestJet. So I think there was a bit of confusion because it was all over the media channels. But one thing that our CEO came out to clarify was to make sure that this future integration will significantly enhance our ability to provide affordability and choice to our guests. Also, the integration of all jets of Sunwing, Airlines, Swoop, and WestJet into one fleet will provide us with the scale to enhance our collective operational resilience while offering more affordable fares and vacation opportunities across our entire network. And finally, another point is that Sunwing Vacation and WestJet Vacation will significantly expand vacation offerings to more communities across the network, as well as offer affordable vacation packages. So I know you keep hearing affordable, but that is the focus. And this is from communities in Canada on a year-round basis, where previously often they were offered only seasonal. So a lot of great changes happening. And now I'd like to share some of our new destination. Now, this is based on our summer schedule. So that was implemented as of March. So you might be already familiar with some of these routes. But basically, our summer schedule is until the end of October. So I expect that within maybe sometime in July, end of July, or hopefully sometime soon, our schedule for the fall and winter will be communicated. But anyway, until that is announced, I'll focus and I'll share with you our summer schedule. So right now, we've announced our first time ever to fly into Asia. So we have a direct flight from Calgary to Tokyo, Japan, on the Dreamliner, and this started April 30th and is available until the end of October. So great opportunity for that direct flight. And then also other announcements that we've done through our summer schedule was a new flight to Detroit, Minneapolis, and Washington. As you can see, these are all major hubs for Delta Airline, which means greater connection from Canada into these destinations. And then, of course, beyond that to any destinations on Delta within the US. We're also flying to many of Delta's other hubs, great hubs such as Atlanta, Los Angeles, New York, and Seattle as well too. So some of our focus, we've taken a bit of our flights that are flying within the East, and we've moved some to focusing on Western Canada. So you see more point-to-point, like direct routes within Western Canada. So these slides will show you from Calgary, we have direct flights to Moncton, Thunder Bay, Terrace, Kitimat, Boston, Chicago, and Costa Rica. From Edmonton, we've made a lot of significant new nonstop markets as well too, to Penticton, Ottawa, Moncton, London, Ontario. I saw there was someone from London and Ontario earlier. Charlottetown, Nanaimo, Seattle, and Puerto Vallarta. And also from Vancouver, nonstop markets to Regina, Atlanta, Nashville, Orlando, and Puerto Vallarta. And then I included Toronto. Obviously, our network out of Toronto is a significant number of routes, but those new nonstop markets is Bermuda, Costa Rica, and Punta Cana. So for the U.S. destination, some of them I've mentioned, but now at least it's giving you a little bit more an idea of the frequency. So here flying to Washington, so Calgary to Washington, D.C., is 3 times weekly nonstop. Then we have to Calgary to Detroit. And again, like I said, maybe Detroit is not a destination on its own, but it's that great connection opportunity to any U.S. destinations beyond. So here we're offering 5 times weekly nonstop service between Calgary and Detroit. And now also we've announced Edmonton to Minneapolis. And I know our first flight just started not that long ago. Actually, yes, June 2nd was our first inaugural flights between Minneapolis and Edmonton. And here we're flying also 5 times weekly nonstop service. We've also brought back Austin, Texas. So this is Calgary to Austin, and we've got 2 times weekly nonstop service. So for international, I did mention earlier Tokyo. That route is doing extremely well for us. So definitely, if your clients are interested, it's a fantastic destination. I haven't been myself, but definitely on my bucket list. But here we fly 3 times weekly, starting as of the end of April. And like I mentioned, until the end of October. So here are our WestJet direct flights into Europe. So basically, like I said, all of our Dreamliners are located out of Calgary. So right now we're offering direct flights to Barcelona, Dublin, Edinburgh, London, UK, Gatwick, and also London Heathrow. We're also flying direct Calgary to Paris and Calgary to Rome. And this is again all until October. For product update, here I'm showing, and this is maybe not update, but maybe a reminder, a refresher. But I think a picture is always says 1,000 words. So it's always great to show what our product offering is, especially on the Dreamliner, which is a beautiful aircraft. So here you're looking at the business class pods, which lay down seats. These private pods, it is on-demand dining. So you have a menu and you can order as many times whenever you want. It is a fantastic experience. It is quite lovely. And here are just a few more pictures to show a little bit more about our business class on the Dreamliner. As you can see, there's a separator slide here between the middle seats. So you can have it up if you're, traveling for business or for alone, or if you're traveling with your partner, family member, then you can lower it down, and then that way you can still be with your partner or companion. So that was our business class. I'll just quickly show some of what our premium class looks like on the Dreamliner. So obviously, separate cabin, same as the business class. So you have a complete separate cabin with curtains that separate, your own washroom as well that you can use. Here you have meals included, beer and wine as well. It is not on-demand dining, but the flight attendants will come in and order your meal, and then you have that meal serving during your flight time. Great leg room, great space, great amenities as well too for our premium. And then this one here is actually showing our premium on the Boeing 737, which you'll see more flying within Canada. So basically all of they're 2x2 seatings, the first 3 rows. And this is an update for some of you maybe, but before the pandemic, we had some 737s that still had the 3x3 with a blocker in the middle seat. So no one would sit in the middle, but you had, 2x2, but 3 seats. So it didn't really represent more space, but you did have more room with the blocker in the middle. However, I'm happy to share that all of our aircrafts, because some of them were grounded during the pandemic, have all been now converted to 2x2. So it's a very consistent, if you're booking this type of service for your clients, you can be assured that this is the level of service they will get and space. It represents about 20% more space when you're sitting in the first 3 rows in our premium cabin. So this is showing, again, just a little bit more of the premium cabin. And then from a guest experience, we're actually going through a major digital transformation. Because of the pandemic, again, it allowed us to relook at everything, how we were doing self-serve capabilities, whether it was to our travel agent partners or to our guests that are traveling, notification, information on hand, really making sure that the traveler has the information they need and the tools to remove some of that stress level, being aware of what changes are happening, whether it's a gate change or a flight time change, but really making sure. So we're working hard internally, and there's this whole new team that has been created, and they are on a new project. It's called Operational Excellence. And basically it's really looking at all the touch points throughout the travel journey, making sure that we deliver exceptional service and experience to our guests at all times. So there's, you'll see a lot of enhancements and changes and great changes happening. So the WestJet app is a great tool, just again, like I said, for that touchless service, having access to your lounge passes, to the being able to get into the lounge, also notification about any changes, and just anything that the traveler would need to know during the journey. There's even an airport map, so if you're looking to where is the lounge, then you can follow the airport map to find yourself throughout the airport, and this of course is available at some of our major airports in Canada. I won't go through too much here because but one thing that has changed is the boarding pass updated dynamically, which is fantastic. I've myself had the opportunity to try it or experience it, but say you're at the gate and your seat was changed because you got an upgrade, which is always nice to hear. Well, basically you will receive your boarding pass will get updated dynamically, your seat change, and it'll be circle, and you'll get a notification that there was a change to your boarding pass. You open it up, you see the change, you're like, great, I've been upgraded to premium class. So it's dynamic. You're not going to be called at the WestJet desk to speak to one of the agent there. One other thing also is there's a gate change, like it's going to be dynamic, it's going to be updated to your boarding pass, which is fantastic. It's just more rapid information flow. One thing we encourage is that for travelers, regardless how many times they fly with us, but really to have that WestJet Rewards loyalty membership profile so that we have the contact information and also the traveler's preferred way of communication. What is their preference, by text or by email, so they can actually build their profile. And of course, they can also earn WestJet dollars. They can benefit as they move into the tier of lounge access, pre-seat selection options as well too, that would come along with the tier. Some of our WestJet lounges, we have our own operated and own WestJet lounge in Calgary. At the other airports such as Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, Vancouver, London, Gatwick, and Heathrow, Barcelona, Paris, Rome, and Montego Bay, we have partnership with Swissport, Premium Plaza, or Lounge Number 1, and the Club Mumbai, where actually our travelers can also, that are gold or platinum members, can access those lounge as well too with our partner lounge. So this is just a few pictures of our WestJet lounge. It is amazing. It's really stunning and state of the art. You have those loungers, you have a shower-like spa that you can book in advance. If you're connecting through Calgary, you want to refresh while you're at the lounge, you can book it ahead. There's a children, family space. It is phenomenal. And this is just another picture showing the view from the bar and the fireplace and more seating area. Very spacious, very comfortable. One thing that has changed is our kiosk when you're travelers, and they'll appreciate for you to inform them of that because it will save them time when they get to the airport. But basically, when you used to check in your baggage is already, when you do your check-in, you'll indicate how many baggage, however you need your baggage tag, right? So the kiosk is where you print your baggage tag. You used to be able to pay for your baggage if you have additional baggage at the kiosk, but that is no longer available. You would have to line up and speak to an agent at the airport to pay for the bag. So therefore, it is much better to prepay in advance, and it's very easy through Managed Trip, or when you do your online check-in, you can do it at that time as well too. So it's always best because it will save your guests, your customers time when they go through the airport and that whole experience. So lastly, I want to touch on the travel agent resource site that we refer to as the TAR. Great information there for travel agents, all the tools, information they need to know. We've added a subscribe to communication so that you can indicate your preferences of communication. So that's brand new. If you haven't subscribed, please go in and subscribe now. Also on the TAR, what are you going to find? A lot of content. Everything is up to date. It's the best source for you to go to. You can do navigation, search by keyword. You will find everything. If you don't find anything, you have the option, actually 3 options. You can schedule a call back. And I know sometimes when there's IROP that are affecting a lot of flights, sometimes the phone lines are quite busy. You can schedule a call back, pick your date, your time frame, and you will get an agent contact center person to call you back. You can also speak with a live agent, which is very useful as well too. So you could have your answers there too. You can also contact our travel support team. So the numbers, and they're open 7 days a week. So definitely, another way to contact with them. So that's all I had to present. I'm looking forward to see if there's any questions. But Jimmy, I would love to pass it over to you now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the presentation, Chantal. And I'll take over from here. So again, thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Now that Chantal has given you a pretty good idea on why you should consider WestJet for your next booking, I'm here to talk about why you should consider using Agencia to make that booking. So I should be sharing my screen right now. Hopefully everyone can see what I'm looking at. So making a booking on Agencia is a 3-page process. So page 1, search, page 2, results, page 3, checkout, simple as that. We've got time of ticketing, commission, and net fare agreements with basically every airline under the sun for both point of sale Canada and US. And one of my favorite parts of the job is working with our airline partners to secure exclusive bonus commission deals, and drop net programs for our travel agents to earn more when they make bookings with us. So when I mentioned that you would have to make a booking between today and July 16th to qualify for the raffle, I wanted to make sure that even those who, do register for an account, do make the booking, but don't happen to win the vouchers, still have a little extra in it for them as well. So you'll notice right here at the top of our search page, we have a WestJet banner. We're not big on doing brand awareness on our platform. If you see an airline's banner, it's because there's something in it for you. 99% of the time, that'll be a bonus commission. So you'll see, we've kind of mentioned it here. You could earn more on your WestJet bookings. If you click on that banner, you'll get a little pop-up, and that'll tell you how much bonus commission you stand to make on a per ticket basis. This would be over and above whatever time of ticketing commission you see on the results page. So just keep that in mind. Whatever you see on the results page doesn't include this amount already. And we're keeping the program very simple. So for all domestic tickets between now and, excuse me, I kept saying the 16th, but it's the 18th, my bad. All domestic tickets, you'll get an extra $5. Trans-border, 10, transatlantic, 25, and then specifically to promote the launch to Tokyo, if you've got any bookings going to Tokyo with WestJet, you'll get an extra $50 bonus commission per ticket. So these banners will show up on any O&D pair you search that qualify for bonus commission. So rest assured, if you stand to make some extra money on a certain booking, we'll make sure that you're aware of it so that you book with the airline partner who's offering you that extra money. So first page, very simple. We just put our origin, destination, and travel dates. As I put here, we're doing a demo on Calgary to Chicago for today. So I just arbitrarily selected August 12th to 19th here. You could put up to 9 passengers on one PNR on Agencia. So this is where you would provide the breakdown of adults, children, infants on lap and on seat. You could also isolate a cabin class or even just filter down to nonstop flights only. And then you could also highlight your preferred carrier if you like. So if you were to check that off, then your results page would only display results from WestJet if you want to see that bonus commission. Finally, you could book either a round trip, a one-way, or a multi-city on Agencia. Multi-city allows for up to 5 city pairs, but we'll just do a round trip for the demo. And then this right here is not just a currency display selector, but it's actually a point of sale selector. So if you were to click on this right over here, now you'd be accessing our of ticketing commission and net fares for point of sale US. So where does that come in handy for you? Let's say you're booking someone who's coming from the US, for example, and there are no incentives on reverse commissions, reverse fares for certain airline partners. Then by selecting point of sale US, you would get your point of origin US commissions and net fares. It's not just for inbound traffic, but even let's say you're located in Windsor and you want to book out of Detroit, you're in Vancouver, you want to book out of Seattle, and so on. We would encourage you to click on USD right over here, and that'll give you our time of ticketing commissions and net fares for point of origin US. At that point, you would just click on search, but in the interest of saving time, I've already got that search results window open for you right over here. So the top of the second page is just going to recap the information we selected on the previous page. So we're looking for point of sale Canada content, Calgary to Chicago round trip in August. And I put 5 adults just to show you something on the checkout page when it comes to payment for PNRs involving multiple passengers. The first thing you're going to see right below that is the carrier matrix. So this is where we've organized all airlines from left to right in ascending order of lowest available price. The lowest price of the matrix overall will always be highlighted in green. The lowest price of the other 2 rows will be highlighted in blue, and all 3 prices will be brought right here in front for you. So we see right away we've got our direct flight at $29.88, the least expensive being WestJet. Now keep in mind, if these prices do seem expensive to you, that's the price for 5 adults, including taxes as well. So that's your total price for all customers. We've got a flexible date set up here as well. So what we've done is added and subtracted 3 days from both the outbound and the inbound date to give you the lowest available price for each date combination. Anything highlighted in white is more expensive than the lowest price for the date combination we selected. Anything highlighted in green is less expensive, and then the one highlighted in gray right in the middle is the price that corresponds to our date range. All prices are hyperlinked, so you'll see my mouse turns into a little finger pointer as I hover over them. If you click on any of these prices, the search will rerun. Preserve your PAX count, preserve your O&D, but just modify the outbound and inbound dates accordingly. So we'll just close that up. At the bottom here is where you'll have all flights, once again, listed in ascending order from left to right, from top to bottom, excuse me. And then what are we looking at here from left to right? If you see a little blue line next to the carrier's name, as is the case right over here, that means branded fares are available with that carrier. You've then got your validated carrier, your fare type, RBD, your price per pax, which if you hover over, gives you the breakdown of base fares and taxes, your total price, little blue luggage icon here. If you click on it, you get redirected straight to the airline's website. If you have any questions about baggage info, feel free to click that little link right over there. No need to worry about whether or not Agencia has updated info since we're sending you directly to the airline. And then when you click on view flights, you'll be given the applicable itinerary, but you'll note here we do have a bunch of flights, so we'll also allow you to filter that down. So if you click on filter your search results right over here, let's say, for example, we're looking for net fares and only direct flights, we'll remove the 1 and 2 stops. Once we click on apply filters, that filters down, and now we're only looking at direct flights where a net fare is available. When we select both the outbound and the inbound flight, we'll see a couple of tabs pop up, which gives you your fare families and the respective prices. If we hover over the tab, let's say here for economy or over here in premium, you'll see what's included and what's available at a charge. If you were to click on that fare family, you'll note here the price just changed to $22.34 per adult, for example. If I click on econo, it'll just shoot me right back to there. Once again, from left to right, what are we looking at? We've got number of seats remaining, our flight number, booking class, segment O&D, departure and arrival times, and flight duration. The little blue eye right over here, if we click on it, we get a little pop-up, and this is where we'll include, we'll just wait for that to load. There you go, all the fare rules directly from the GDS. So if you're wondering about fare rules, please feel free to click on the little blue eye over there. All the information is pulled directly from the GDS. So anytime an airline makes an update to their fare rules, you can rest assured that Agencia has the most up-to-date rules available already. So now we've selected our net fare. Let's say we're ready to go with this econo one. We would click on book, which would send us to our third page. In the interest of saving time, I already have it open for us. So top of the third page, very similar concept as the top of the second page. We're going to recap the information that was selected on the previous page just to make sure there were no mistakes. Outbound and inbound travel are separated by blue highlighting. In the case of connecting flights, those connecting flights are separated with green highlighting. You can then see as well your flight number, RBD, and aircraft all over again here. If you forgot to click on the little blue luggage icon, you could do so here. But now that the fare has been selected, when you hover over it, it'll even show you how many pieces of luggage are included. I just happened to select the econo fare, so obviously no luggage is included. You've then got a recap of your fare family deals. Here you would just enter your PAX info, which is already preloaded, just so I don't waste your time making you watch me fill that up. For Point of Sale Canada, we do have a partnership with Manulife for travel insurance. So if you don't have a provider already, or if you think your provider doesn't offer you incentives that are up to speed with what else is out there, then please feel free to have a look in Agencia. We've got the little drop-down menu here. Let's say, for example, you wanted to grab the Global All-Inclusive Protection. Once you click on it, you'll get a recap of everything that's included. You'll get the total price, including tax. And then just to make your sales pitch a bit easier, we've kind of broken that down into a smaller number so that you could give the average daily price per pax. And then finally, you see how much you stand to make. So even versus the price inclusive of taxes, you're looking at about 40%. So by all means, please feel free to push insurance with us. And then finally, you get to your price breakdown section. So this is where you could add your markup. You see which merchant account the transaction is applied to, and you see how much commission you stand to make. So I selected a net fare on the previous page, so obviously it's not commissionable, but you could add a markup to it. If you want to know how much you're allowed to mark up your fare by, then just hover over the little question mark right over here. Now, in the case of WestJet, markup is not allowed on their merchant account, which is why that's showing as a 0. But then you've got right under that, maximum agency markup. So that's what Agencia will allow you to mark up by. And that 43.47 might look like a bit of an arbitrary number, but basically we allow you to mark up by double the base fare. So double this 21.73.50 is that 43.47 we're looking at up there. So let's say, for example, now you wanted to add, I don't know, let's call it a $200 markup per pax. You want to add your $1,000 markup. Now, since we can't use WestJet's merchant account, that $1,000 gets pushed onto our merchant account right over here. There's a 3% service fee for use of our merchant account, which is why you're seeing that extra $31.50. And I've also registered myself as a Quebec agent in here, which is why you're seeing that $1.50 in taxes being added to it as well. So any consolidator on the market is going to offer you the ability to do this. So you could apply virtually unlimited markup to their merchant account. But this is where agents have told us they kind of shy away from marking up tickets sometimes because they don't want to have that separate line item on the customer's credit card and open things up to the third degree. So you'll know right over here under pricing strategy, lowest price is always selected by default. What we mean by that is the lowest price you could charge for this booking, if you want to mark it up by $1,000, is this $4,020 right over here, but you've got the two separate transactions. On the other hand, if you click on single charge, you see the price went up by about $100. Reason for that is we now force the entirety of the transaction onto our merchant account. So the 3% service fee I mentioned earlier applies to the whole transaction rather than simply the incremental markup that you added. So if you want to keep that same price around the $4,000 area, then by all means, you could take it out of your markup. There we are back to $4,000. Or if you think you could sell with the full $1,000 markup, then $41.14 would be the new price. So now, rather than getting a question as to why there's two transactions on the customer's card, maybe the customer accusing you of putting all that money in your pocket or anything like that, the only question you would face at this point is, hey, you work at ABC Travel, I booked a WestJet ticket, why am I seeing Agencia Global on my credit card? And that's pretty easy to explain. We issue tickets for you, we're your wholesaler, everything's on the up and up. And now that I've added the markup, you'll see right over here, you've got your $1,000 agency markup. Now, again, to mention what was highlighted here on the bonus commission program, this applies over and above anything you see throughout the booking process. So here it's a booking of 5 passengers. There's a bonus commission of $10. So in reality here, you're not making $1,000. You're going to make $1,050. Agencia is not set up to calculate an ad hoc commission program over and above standard time of ticketing and markup, which is why you're not seeing it here. But we do reconcile with agents on a biweekly basis, and that's where your bonus commission would be included. So let's say now everyone loves the price, the $41.14. They're good to go. You think you're almost done your work, but unfortunately, all 5 of them take their respective credit cards out of their pockets. Each one wants to pay with their own card, which means you're stuck booking 5 individual PNRs. So this is where, unfortunately, you'd have to go back to the beginning, book 5 separate PNRs, and then in the case of a schedule change, worry about adjusting 5 PNRs, unless you're working with Agencia Global. So when you get to the payment section, you'll see right over here, we've got single and multiple selected. So if one person's going to pay for everyone, great. Enter their credit card info right over here. Click that you agree to the booking, you agree to the terms and conditions. Click on book and pay, and you're off to the races. Let's say everyone does want to use their own credit card. Then you would click on multiple. If you go back to the payment section, it says you have to assign passengers to their credit cards. So how do we do that? When we do click on the multiple, we've got a drop-down menu right over here that allows us to select as many credit cards as there are customers. Usually it'll default to the number of customers, which is why 5 just showed up right here. So we've got our 5 credit card slots right over here. We've got our 5 passengers. We've created a simple drag and drop system. Grab each one, drag them to their respective cards, at which point the payment section is not grayed out anymore. And this is where you could put, Griffin on card 1. Then we'd have Cedric, first time I see that spelling, on card 2. We could put Mohammed on card 3, and so on. So now as we flip through the tabs, you'll see we've got different names. So now you could do this, agree to the terms and conditions, click on book and pay. Now you've got 1 booking, 1 PNR, 5 ticket numbers. Each customer has paid with their respective credit cards. And in the case of a fraud check, a schedule change, anything to that effect, there's only 1 PNR to look into for everyone. Once you click on book and pay, you'll be brought to the confirmation page, at which point you'll be provided with a nine-digit Agencia Global confirmation number, as well as the PNR, copy of the invoice and the itinerary, both of which would be personalized with your agency's info at the top. So if you're using separate software for that, feel free to use Agencia instead, just to make your life easier. And tickets are issued within 2 hours of booking. You'll receive them by email. If you do have any questions between the time you book and the time you receive your tickets, I'll just put our contact info right here on the screen. You could give us a call at 1-844-544-FAIR or email us at contact@agenciaglobal.com. Our hours of operation are right over here, or you could even just fill out the form right over here and we'll receive it as an email and respond to you as soon as possible. So that's pretty much it for the booking process. Hopefully you liked what you saw. You found it was user-friendly. Again, I encourage everyone to sign up and take advantage of the bonus commission programs. A lot of these programs exist on a use it or lose it basis. The more we could drive sales for our airline partners in return for a bonus commission program, the more often we could secure those bonus commission programs. So long story short, help me help you make more money. On that note, if you liked what you saw, then I do encourage you to register, and I'll show you how to do so. When you go to www.agenciaglobal.com, it'll bring you to our landing page right over here. Just click on register, at which point we'll ask you for some basic information, business name and email, some form of accreditation, one of these certifications right over here, contact info, and then the first and last name of the quote-unquote master agent, who could then in turn add other master agents or regular agents to that agency account. Master agents can see everyone's bookings, can access commission statements, can modify travel agency info, whereas regular agents are just set up to make their own bookings and review their own bookings. They can't access any confidential agency info or add or remove agents under them. So thank you once again, everyone, for taking the time to be with us. I'm just going to put that bonus commission program right back on the screen for those who are interested. One little thing I forgot to mention about eligibility for the raffle prize. More often than not, we have a fair amount of existing Agencia agents attending our webinars. So for those existing agents who are attending one for the first time in a while, please keep in mind that you have already basically checked off the second box. This raffle isn't available only to new agents, but we do want to make sure that we incentivize our existing agents on webinars as well. So again, just to recap the criteria, you're 15 minutes away, 15 minutes or less away from attending the webinar in its entirety. Please feel free to register an account on Agencia to check off the second box. And finally, make at least one WestJet booking between today and July 18th. So again, thank you, everyone. And on that note, Zephan, I'll pass it back to you for any Q&A.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jimmy. And thanks for the great presentation. You've got a couple of comments noting the presentation. So thank you. And thank you, Chantel, as well, for your presentation. I'm just going to pull up the WestJet slides again here. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. As Jimmy mentioned, we're just a couple of minutes away from you taking that first box of being on for the full webinar. So folks, we're going to get to the Q&A section at this point. So we do have a couple of questions here. I believe most of them are for Jimmy, but Jimmy, if you need to, if you want to hand things off to Chantel as well, that's okay. But I think most of them are directed more towards you. So the first question that I saw here was, and I believe it was answered by you closer to the end of the presentation, Jimmy, but maybe just to make sure that it gets asked, I'll address it. So can you add commission without the client seeing two charges?
Yes. Well, you can't add commission, but you would add a markup, which in essence is the same thing. So yes, you could add unlimited markup to your ticket as long as you select the single charge feature. The entirety of the transaction would be pushed to our merchant account. So even let's say if you've got a $2,000 booking, $2,000 ticket, and you want to add a markup of $2,000 because let's say you're using a separate system to book the hotel, but you want to charge your customer under one invoice on Agencia, feel free to do so. And yes, it would be hidden. Actually, now that I mentioned that, one detail I forgot to mention is when you select the single charge feature, even the customer's invoice will show a service fee of 0. Your markup actually gets built into the base fare, so they'll only see base fare and taxes, wouldn't see a service fee.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Jimmy. Next question. Can I add insurance if I don't have my insurance license? I'm in BC.
Yep, absolutely. It's on us, right? So we signed the agreement. We're the ones providing that insurance. So yes, please feel free to add it to your booking.
Great. Okay, next question. With WestJet, we can cancel for free within 24 hours. Do you offer that as well?
So it's not necessarily 24 hours. It's basically same day. So as of midnight, kind of things are done. So if you were to book at 12:01 a.m., then yes, theoretically you have up to 24 hours. But let's say if we're going to make a booking right now, you have until 11:59 p.m. today to void. Standard voiding practice, nothing out of the ordinary at Agencia versus the rest of the industry.
Okay, great. All right, so next question. If you have a host agency, do they have to sign up or can an agent sign up directly?
So if you have your own IATA number, then yes, you are free to sign up directly. I assume you're working with a host agency because you don't have an IATA number. So at that point, we would need your host agency to register with us. We have partnered with a couple already, but if we're not working with the one you work with, then please feel free to email us. Again, contact@agenciaglobal.com, and I'll make sure that registering on Agencia is an option for you.
Great, thanks. And actually, you're just getting a comment here, Jimmy, to please provide the link to sign up on Agencia. That's great. So, Jimmy, maybe I'll address this next question to Chantel. And if you want to just provide that link in the chat, that might be easiest.
Sure.
Great. So, Chantel, quick question for you. Does the Dreamliner fly out of Toronto?
It's a very good question. We used to have some of our Dreamliners flying out of Toronto, but for now they have all been relocated and they're flying out of Calgary at this moment.
Okay, great. Thanks. All right. So next question for Agencia again. So Jimmy, when you're ready, can I book through the call center?
Sorry, Zafan, just
go
ahead. I just backtracked, but we are flying between Toronto and Calgary on the Dreamliner. So yes, it is flying between Toronto and Calgary. I was thinking more into like other destinations, Sun or Europe, but it is flying transcontinental between Toronto and Calgary.
Excellent. Okay, great. And just before I forget, I see a question here about the presentation info. You'll receive a copy of the recording within about 24 hours once it's been processed. So next question is for Jimmy. Can I book through the call center?
Sure. Give us a shout at 1-844-544-FARE, F-A-R-E, and we can book over the phone. No problem.
Excellent. Next question, again about service. I work a lot on weekends. With the long weekend coming up, will I have support? I have already used Agencia Global and love it.
So the unfortunate answer to that is no. There's no weekend support in the forecast for the foreseeable future. We used to have 24/7 service prior to the pandemic, but ever since the call volume and request volume we get doesn't really justify us going back to that, at least for now. So in the interest of managing expectations, I'd rather say no indefinitely for the time being.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so just a couple more questions here, folks. And if you do have any final questions, we do have a couple of minutes, so feel free to submit them. Next one is, do all host agencies allow agents to register with Agencia directly?
I don't think I I'm the one who could answer that question, right? Like each host agency has their own policies, so I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. Best I could say to that is check with your host agency and confirm with them.
Okay, great. Next question for U.S. clients: do you provide Manulife insurance?
It's in the works, but not yet. Stay tuned.
Okay, great. Awesome. And I'm not sure if this is a question, but just want to make sure Agencia is covered under Tyco. Can you address that, Jimmy?
Under TICO, yes.
Okay, great. Good stuff. All right. Well, folks, I think that kind of covers it for the questions that I see here. So again, if you, sorry, Jimmy, oh, I may have just heard an echo. Okay. I think that should cover it for the questions. So thanks again, everyone, for the great questions. And thank you, Jimmy and Chantel, for your answers. Really appreciate it. And I just want to say a big thank you to Jimmy and Chantel for their presentations as well. So folks, feel free to say thanks in the chat. Yeah, you're already getting some messages here. Great webinar information. Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. Good to see. Yeah, feel free to say thanks in the chat, folks. We really appreciate your time, Chantel, and Jimmy as well. Really appreciate all your answers to the questions also. So thanks, everyone. And we appreciate your time. We're so glad that you're here. So right after this webinar, you'll be redirected to the WestJet travel agent website where you can access more information from them. That'll happen automatically as the webinar ends. And again, we'll be sending the webinar recording link from today to all registrants within about 24 hours once it's been processed. And all of our past webinars, we've got a lot of great content built up over the past couple of years and past couple of months even. So feel free to check out our previous webinars on our Baxter Media YouTube channel, or you can check them out on travelpress.com. We've got a webinar portal on the homepage there, so check them out there. This one will be posted there as well as soon as it's been processed. And a reminder to subscribe to Baxter Media's publications if you get the chance. It's at the top of your chat box there in green. You'll see a link and you can access it there. And I think with that, we're going to wrap up here. I'm just going to double check the Q&A section and make sure there's no more questions. I don't think there are, so we should be good to go. But thank you again, Chantel, and thank you, Jimmy, for the presentation.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.